Hi, I'm Ashlyn.
I am Zach Ferraro.
So I was not raised Christian. I identified as agnostic, and a lot of my friends did too, which really just meant that I didn't think about it.
I grew up in a Christian home, very loving parents, had 2 siblings. I went to a private school up through 8th grade, and in high school I went to youth group. Very much church was a part of my life.
I moved to Madison. I knew that volleyball was a great way to connect with people and make friends. I met Nellie, and I was really drawn to her because she was like the only other female there. She invited me to come play volleyball at High Point, and that was the first time I prayed in a circle. And I was like, what is going on?
I don't know, I'd sit at the lunch table and I hear people tell me stories of their weekends, and I'm like, why can't I do any of that? My senior year of high school, I kind of was like, well, I want to try this out. So I ended up getting in an unhealthy relationship with a girl, and then I ended up starting going to parties that I thought I never would go to. Ultimately, it became my high school dream, and I still was not satisfied. My idol was wanting to be the most popular, and I felt like God was the one thing holding me back. And then once I had what I thought I wanted, I was like, I'm not happy, something needs to change.
At High Point Volleyball, that's also where I met Femi. I met up with Femi. We started talking about Christianity, and I was like, great, I have lots of questions. I went to a bookstore and then looked at all the translations, had no idea what to get, texted Femi, and then he led me to an NIV translation. So I started out with that. I had so many stickies, so I would meet up with Femi and go through all my questions. I asked Femi, I was like, am I going crazy? Because I think I'm developing emotional attachment to the Bible. And he was like, no, that's fine. That's perfect, that's great. And I was like, okay. I realize now that like God was working in me to trust him.
I came into freshman year of college, and I knew I still wanted to get involved in the campus ministry, but I also thought, well, I still got to try out the college lifestyle. So, I would go to the ministry meeting on Thursday, go to a party on Friday, and I would even walk to class and listen to Christian podcasts. I'm like hoping something hits me and it all makes sense. It got to a point where I was deciding, do I want to go on a mission trip or work a summer job in a factory back home? I was like, all right, God, I'll go. We were supposed to be sharing on the beach, and I chickened out the whole afternoon, and I talked to a staff member at dinner that night. And that staff member just shared the gospel with me.
At some point in my head, I was like, this all makes sense. I think I can be on board. I think I believe in God. Friday, April 13th, I was on a work trip in San Diego, and I had already planned to call Femi about some questions I had. He asked me, do you believe in God? And I was like, yes. And he asked me, do you believe that Jesus is your Lord and Savior? And I was like, yes. And he was like, then you're Christian. I believe in God, and this is how I'm going to live my life, and this is, I'm going to serve him.
That night, I was like, all right, God, I'm in. I'm all ears. And I remember waking up the next morning and being like, all right, God, we are at square one. How do we do this? If anyone knows me, I've been stressed about what major do I do, what career do I do. It's not that it's been a one and done process, but God has just slowly but surely just helped me to throw off things that hinder and say, all right, God, this is yours. I don't have the right to this, and this all belongs to you. My life is in the hands of God, my identity is in him, and that is what matters most.
There have been some difficulties, but I know that God is with me. He's just building me up to be strong in my faith, no matter where I am, no matter who I'm with. Yeah, I never want to turn back, is, I guess, the point of it.